Hello. Taras, jealous, and buzzing. I have never used those words in my life. But it doesn't matter. What matters is fitness. And this is what you call fitness. But we have to deep dive into it. This is not fitness, it is part of it. You want to know more about dieting, you want to know about fitness, you want to know about psychological effects, then keep watching. And as Rahul says,
roll the intro.
Hello! After that weird intro. Rahul, how are you? Another week, another episode. कौन सा fourth episode हो गया है वो?
Fourth episode.
Fuck. Another week, another episode. क्या बात है? बहुत जल्दी जल्दी जा रहे हैं हम लोग, which is good. और another week, as I said, कैसा गया तुम्हारा week इस बार का? Top क्या बात है? Man of few words today. Okay. चलेगा. Again, as you've seen the intro, तो थोड़ा bizarre था, but that's what a fitness journey is supposed to be. तो आज जैसे कि आप लोगों ने टाइटल में पढ़ा है, जैसे कि आप लोगों ने इंट्रो देखा है, we're talking about fitness. See, as हमारा channel is all about people in their 20s, I think fitness is a big role to play, has a big role to play in our lives, specifically उस टाइम पे, क्योंकि supposedly हमारी बॉडी उस टाइम पे peak hit करती है, right, from 25 to 30ish. You know, like there's a good medical like saying where it goes like our body starts to decay after 30, you know.
Yeah.
तो मेरे लाइफ में बहुत मैटर किया है, एंड आई नो तेरे लाइफ में भी बहुत मैटर किया है. सो बिफोर वी स्टार्ट आई वुड वांट यू टू गिव मी सॉर्ट ऑफ लाइक अ रन डाउन, लाइक व्हाट इज योर रिलेशनशिप विद फिटनेस इन द last 10 to 12 years, or maybe from the age you were born.
So from the beginning, I liked walking a lot. So I used to make sure that I go for a walk every day, at least for a period of 30 to 40 minutes.
Achha.
Yeah, so overall it had a very good effect on my physical as well as mental health, because I used to go to gardens mostly because there's greenery, you get that peace there. So every time I went to a garden, it was I didn't get to know कि यार इतना time हो गया मैं walk कर रहा हूँ, या even if I go for jogging. So most of the time I used to go to the garden because it's a proper track inside. So I can jog there, I can walk there, I can even sprint out there.
अच्छा, but like तूने फिटनेस फिजिकल फिटनेस पे ध्यान देना इसलिए चालू किया था कि there were some issues with your body, or you looked at maybe people out there who were promoting it, or like how did you get introduced to fitness and when did you start taking it seriously in your life?
So talking about the period when I took it seriously was during the COVID times, firstly.
Okay.
Because
बहुत recently मतलब.
very recent. Previously I used to go for walks and all. It used to be a leisure walk, or sometimes I used to also do a bit of workout type of walking. But the seriousness or the involvement towards that increased more in 2020.
Okay.
From that time when I started, I used to usually practice intermittent fasting. Then along with that, I used to also go for walks. I used to also make time for a sprint or a jog also. And the distances which I covered was usually around 3 to 4 kilometers, which was a mix of everything. I used to go for a walk, then I used to also involve a bit of jogging, a bit of sprinting, because that used to give me an overall push to my body. And though it used to be a bit of exertion, but the results were very good for me.
तो मतलब लॉकडाउन से पहले you did like physical fitness पे इतना ध्यान नहीं दिया था तुमने?
हाँ, इतना majorly I had not focused.
उसके क्या रीजन से, लाइक डिड यू नो, लाइक डिड यू सी क्या ठीक है अभी तो करने की कोई ज़रूरत नहीं है कि कुछ इफेक्ट्स हो नहीं रहा, लाइक उस टाइम पे लाइक व्हाट वाज योर माइंडसेट कि ठीक है जैसा हो जाएगा हो जाएगा?
अभी I was a basketball player previously.
अच्छा.
My 8th and 9th standard, I was a ZB player for basketball.
So that was your form of physical fitness. अच्छा हाँ, तो फिर वो हो ही गया ना, फिर वो physical fitness में आ गया.
Yeah. So usually what was the problem was that I was not able to do certain exercises at that time.
Okay.
So my basketball coach trained me a lot
Mhm.
to improve the flexibility, and I proudly say that I follow it till date, and it has kept me in a
बहुत चीज़ों पे प्राउड हो तुम
अरे
हर एपिसोड में हर एपिसोड में 2-3 प्राउड चीजें निकल ही आती है नाइस ओके तो यू आर अ प्लेयर तो तू बास्केटबॉल कब से कब तक खेला था
I played from 8 to 10 standard.
तू 8 to 10 साल उससे पहले कुछ फिटनेस कुछ के रिलेटेड
उसके पहले I was a table tennis player.
पर टेबल टेनिस पे इतनी फिजिक नहीं एक्चुअली लगती है या इट्स हार्ट रेट बहुत बढ़ता है या ओके नाइस ओके सो मतलब एक तरह से यू हैव हैड फिजिकल फिटनेस इन सम शेप एंड फॉर्म इन योर लाइफ नाइस ओके तो like what was your relationship like mentally speaking like what was like what did you have in mind in the beginning ki are you playing these sports because you want to stay fit are you playing them because you are just passionate about the sport itself या फिर when did you try to find that or at least make the connection कि अरे हाँ if I have passion for this that's good but ये मेरे like physical fitness के लिए भी बहुत सारी चीज़ें कर रहा है it's allowing me to do things you know that I didn't think was possible before like when did you make that connection and took it seriously
So for me, basketball has been more like a sport which I loved a lot.
अच्छा
So it was not majorly for physical fitness. I loved the sport. I've played matches in my school also. I also played a match in ZP. So that was something I used to do it out of liking. I never knew that basketball would become a part of my life because I always believed that overall मेरा structure wise basketball के लिए suited नहीं है. But as I rightly highlighted in my podcast also, this was a part of my learning where I learned that अरे नहीं है तो फिर क्या हुआ we can at least try and go in it. So वहाँ से I started मेरा basketball का journey. So I have been trained under almost 3 to 4 coaches.
तो like why did you leave basketball like वही कि उसमें कोई future वगैरह ऐसा दिख नहीं रहा था and अगर if you are compared to like what the sport needed like 6 foot 6'3" fit guys and you thought that you wouldn't be able to do it तो वो passion धीरे धीरे करके it just swiveled to absolute zero like वैसे ही कुछ हुआ
नहीं वैसे ऐसे नहीं I wanted to play आज तक मेरा खेलने का मन होता है but my back doesn't support it.
okay तो एक तरह okay हाँ वही तो फिर okay
I still love to like if I get a chance मैं ऐसे I go and play in the court be it for 5 minutes but I go and play because okay that sport I had developed a lot of love for that sport.
तो रिटायर्ड हर्ट हो गए तुम अभी तक हर्ट खत्म नहीं हुआ पर रिटायर ही होना पड़ा उस हर्ट के बाद
But I still I tried my best 11th-12th में भी I gave it a try. एक आध दो मैचेस को भी गया था but sadly I was not allowed to play. I was in the substitutes का part because they felt कि तुझमें इतना agility नहीं है उतना speed नहीं तो खेल पाएगा.
okay
Though I believe though I don't have it I can at least try but they didn't allow me to do that too. So that is something which hurts me to a certain extent but still वो एक sport का प्यार है वो अभी तक है.
So since you left basketball, but you had made that connection of physical fitness is going to be a key because again you have spine issues sometimes, right? So what did you change in your physical fitness routine to accommodate your back issues?
So to get back the normal health of my back, I
majorly focus.
Say that 5 times fast.
see what I observed was that whenever I used to go for a walk, that pain used to reduce to a certain extent because your body opens up when you're walking. So that what we call it that jamming part used to not occur when I used to walk. So whenever I used to go for a walk, it used to not give me so much of that pain or it used to not go to a certain extent कि I cannot even walk. वो extent तक गया नहीं कभी.
Okay.
So walking has helped me build my back strength again. And walking has been a key driver for me even today. Because even today I go for walks just by keeping in mind कि अरे मेरे back के health के लिए it is very good. And overall मेरा जो physical fitness है though there is not a lot of weight loss, The part is मेरा body थोड़ा open up होता है, थोड़ा एक refreshment होता है. That's the reason I still go for walks.
So have you incorporated running as well?
Yeah, running is a part of it, but I make sure that it doesn't extend to a certain extent because थोड़ा bulky body रहा तो running के time पे your back gets a lot of झटका जो बोलते हैं ना वो रनिंग के टाइम पे बहुत होता है. तो आइडियली आई डू जॉगिंग एंड अ वेरी शॉर्ट डिस्टेंस आई वुड से अराउंड 200-300 meters देयर इज अ स्प्रिंट.
Okay.
So I don't extend it more because walking का effect I don't want to cut down that.
तो मैं रनिंग एंड जॉगिंग के लिए इसलिए पूछा था बिकॉज लाइक again, you know, running and jogging was a part of my life as well, and अभी मैं recently I've started doing it again. तो my aim was कि I want to do a marathon, like half marathon या फिर कभी भी maybe like early next year, क्योंकि अभी क्या almost अक्टूबर ही चल रहा है. तो let's say मार्च के आसपास. So I was thinking, if do you want to do it with me? Because it could be a good challenge, right? Like again, there's so many success stories of people like recovering from, you know, it's like miraculous recoveries from really bad injuries, and उस time पे you believe that, you know, मेरे को भी ऐसा कुछ करना है अपनी life में, like I have that capability, but बहुत time के बाद we like वो sincerity चली जाती है उस promise की, you know. So since we are on a public platform and I will hold you accountable for it, let's like properly train for it. थोड़े से like you know अपने updates देते रहेंगे बीच में, and it could be really good. Like मार्च के time पे we'll run a marathon and we'll train properly. Shake hands on podcast है. तो अगर नहीं भागे तो अगर मेरे को गालियाँ पड़ेंगी comments पे, I will take it. But yes, yeah man, talking about running and jogging, man, it's again, it seems so basic, right? Like भाग ही रहे हैं, you know, और कुछ नहीं कर रहे, but it has so much benefits, you know. Like speaking of like just playing sports and incorporating that early on in people's lives, you know, like yoga is such a like big thing. Core exercises हो गया या फिर calisthenics हो गया, like weight lifting के लिए अभी बहुत बोलते हैं, you know, like muscle growth and all that. तो what stimulates all of that in the earliest stages, जब लोग इतना जिम में नहीं जाते, इतने physical fitness ध्यान नहीं देते, sports. तो you just tend to get fitter if you're playing sports किसी ना किधर. And again, like injury and all that, तो यार वो तो बहुत sad ही है एक तरह से कि you can't play like that, क्योंकि playing just becomes like an emotional, it has like an emotional tether to it as well, right? कि अरे यार, like I had passion for this as well. Like I remember when I was playing football and I wanted to play football professionally, like I used to get injured all the time, but like all those specific times जहाँ पे मैं injured रहता था, like it used to literally just kill me inside. like भाई यार क्यों injured हुआ मैं अभी अच्छे से खेल रहा हूँ.
नहीं, फुटबॉल ऐसे देखा जाए तो भी it's a pretty rough sport.
Yeah, exactly.
तो injuries are very much prominent, मतलब आता ही आता है.
वो तो आप धीरे धीरे और प्रोफेशनली खेलने लगोगे in a like environment where it's just becoming more serious and more serious. तो वहाँ पे तो इंजरी होना तो बहुत like literally it becomes like a second nature वाला tactic, you know, like होगा ही होगा. But yeah man, physical fitness has been like a very important and integral part of my life, because for the first 20 years, as I've said in our previous podcast,
It has been, it should be.
नहीं, अभी तो थोड़ा सा अभी पिछले 2-3 साल के लिए थोड़ा सा कम हो गया था. बहुत कम हो गया था. Dude, अभी इस पॉडकास्ट के पहले छोले भटूरे खाए तो come on. But yeah, like it had been a pretty integral part of my life, and I remember, like, you know, when you are fit, when you are properly fit, there is like internal strength that you have, that it's so weird that it's all those little things that you miss, like being able to like it's very weird, but I used to like touch my feet, like if you're standing still and then you just touch your feet by bending down, right? So it's a good stretch for your whole spine and your quads and stuff like that. I used to be able to do that. I can't do that now. I can't do that now. I used to be able to stretch, like मैं proper stretch कर लेता था पूरे 2 play. I can't do that now. You know, like I used to be able to run for a longer period of time and not go, you know, like after 5 minutes. I can't do that now. So like वो बहुत छोटी-छोटी चीज़ें हैं, but like अभी for example अगर मेरे को कोई you know नीचे से ऊपर कोई सामान उठा के लाना हो, उसी में थक जाता हूँ मैं यार. तो you know like even after all of that, it feels like कि यार I need to get back into shape. तो अभी मैंने अपना प्रोसेस पूरा वापस चालू कर दिया. You know like my relationship with fitness and like dieting in general and just being able to consistently carry a certain shape, like that is very challenging. तो मेरे को याद है मैं like अपना पूरा रूटीन बदल देता था, from my sleeping schedule to dieting to working out, like to staying as consistent throughout the week, throughout the month, throughout the year, like when to take rest days, when to attack what part of the body, and then like if you are playing sports, then how do you improve skill in that game as well. तो बहुत एक strict उसमें रहता था. And you know मैं I will stand by this statement saying कि बहुत सारे लोग ना if they literally stick to a very strict diet, and I know बहुत लोग बोलते हैं अरे बहुत strict कौन करेगा, you don't need to do it, आप 3 साल 4 करो उसके बाद होता है. I like it hasn't worked for me specifically, but even अगर कोई मेरे से भी advice देता है ना, I always tell them 2 साल या 1 साल बस strict रह के देखो. Have a strict sleeping schedule, have a strict routine, have a strict diet, have everything. In that year, जो change आएगा उस साल में, that would be so significant कि उसके बाद तुम अगर थोड़ा सा भी इधर उधर करके जी रहे हो ना, like for example वीक में एक बार बाहर से खा लिया, वो like बहुत small things भी इधर उधर करोगे ना, it wouldn't affect you that much क्योंकि your body had already become like to a certain degree had already become used to what it was for the last year, and वो cravings भी करना बंद कर देगा उस हिसाब से जितना आपको अभी cravings होती है. तो वो I always tell them 1 साल करो and 1 साल proper strict करो, उसके बाद see कि बहुत अच्छे से होगा. Like how's dieting been?
Dieting specifically मेरे लिए is I usually prefer intermittent fasting.
Okay.
Which I personally prefer. It may be something different for other people, but I prefer intermittent fasting as well as a bit of meditation comes in that. So whenever there's a period when I come after a walk or I come after a jog, so I make sure that I don't drink water for at least 25 to 30 minutes, and I avoid eating also at that time, because that in a way is completely affecting your calories which you have shed, or the time you have spent, be it 30 minutes 40 minutes, वो पूरा पानी में जाता है. तो that is always better कि you come back home, sit for half an hour 45 minutes and then have something. And whenever you have something, it should not be something ऐसे एकदम heavy पूरी भाजी type things. It should be something ऐसा oats खा लिया तुमने, or you eat some fruit उसके साथ. तो what happens, your system gets fresh at that time कि चलो इतना एक्सरसाइज करके आए हैं, उतना कैलोरीज बर्न हुआ है, तो एटलीस्ट उसके डबल कैलोरीज तो हिट नहीं कर रहा वापस वो. सो आई प्रीफर व्हेनेवर आई कम आफ्टर वॉक, तो 30 मिनट्स के बाद आई ड्रिंक वाटर, बिकॉज इमीडिएटली आके इफ आई ड्रिंक it builds a pressure on the heart also, because you are on a higher note, no heart में your beats are very high. If I come back from work, my heart beats at around 120. So it should, in a way, you drink water out of that thirst, but it puts a lot of load on your heart, which is not good.
Yeah, of course.
So ideally, give your heart some time, let it relax, let it come down to around 60, around 70. Let it come to a normal level, then you have water.
Then do you think, like specifically for you, walking and like intermittent fasting and all that has worked for you, right? Like, has there been any other forms of fitness that you have tried? Like, for example, instead of like walking, have you tried strength training? या फिर instead of intermittent fasting, maybe like calorie deficit में जाना, या फिर like restricting your calories here and there वगैरह वगैरह. Like, have you like tried different methods to become like even fitter, या फिर you know that this is the best? Like, how did you get to the decision of like, this is working for me and this is what I want to do as my choice of physical fitness?
So intermittent fasting is the best for me, but I have also tried the calorie deficit part of thing, wherein I eat less than the normal and I give my body some time कि वो कम फूड को प्रोसेस करे, उससे ही स्ट्रेंथ पुश करे बॉडी में.
Has that worked?
For me, intermittent fasting has worked a lot
Okay.
because it's a diet wherein you have something in the morning, be it a fruit or some dry fruits which you have in the morning. In the second half or in your lunch time, you have something जो थोड़ा सा protein based रहे, be it jaggery with groundnuts.
Okay.
It helps a lot because that in a way gives you the required protein also, as well as the required sugar also goes inside the body. And when you close the diet, समझो towards the end dinner में you have something normal, मतलब दाल राइस खा लिया, और you have something ऐसे light food, should not be एकदम वेट करना, because सुबह से तुमने फास्टिंग किया है, तो when you load it up एकदम रात को, it is not good. तो मॉर्निंग से व्हाट यू मेंटेन वही मेंटेन करने का रात को भी.
Okay.
तो इन अ वे क्या है, वो दिन तुम्हारा इट बिकम्स अ फास्टिंग प्रोसेस, तुम्हारा बॉडी को एक क्लेंसिंग के लिए पीरियड मिल जाता है उसमें.
Okay. Okay. So it has worked for you like really well. Nice.
What has worked for you ऐसे, be it in diet?
For I see, I have been on very different types of diets throughout my life because my requirements was very different. As a football player, like even if you change your position, it takes a lot. Because if you are trying to be, let's say, a winger, your cardio is your calf muscles, your lower body strength training and all that like becomes a key factor because you want to be quick on the wings. Now, if you are in playing in the midfield, which I have, so वहाँ पे circuit trainings and वो सब बहुत होती है because it's more about agility, because a lot of people are inside the middle of the ground, so you have to be agile enough to get through or get past people as well. तो उस time के लिए भी for me, see, I'm a non-vegetarian, like that's like I'm like बहुत सारे लोग, you know, it doesn't work for them, but it works for me. Like eggs and chicken and any sort of red meat, but also like white meat like fish and all that like also work for me properly. Again, for me veg also works, but I prefer non-veg because non-veg like it just have complete like more complete proteins there, so it's worked for me a lot. But I think more than dieting, I think what's worked for me is consistency with whatever I did. I like my metabolism from my early days till like 20 was like I could not gain literally like any amount of fat. Like it's so funny because before lockdown, like till the first day of lockdown, that's when I left football. उस time पे my height was 5'10", अभी 5'10" ही है, but उस टाइम पे my weight was 55. like उतना ही मैं रहता था, और मैंने लिटरली उसके 2 साल पहले तक ट्राई किया था गेन करने का मसल और फैट, नहीं हो रहा था क्योंकि मेरा मेटाबॉलिज्म इज सो लाइक इतनी जल्दी बर्न करता है कैलोरीज और फैट कि मैं कुछ पुट ऑन कर ही नहीं पा रहा था. देन लॉकडाउन हैपेंड, 2 साल कुछ नहीं किया, लेफ्ट फुटबॉल, कुछ करने का था ही नहीं, खाओ पियो और सो जाओ. उस टाइम पे इन दोस 2 years आई वेंट फ्रॉम 55 kgs to 82 राइट नाउ. सो दैट जंप in itself brings so much more pressure on your body कि आपके जॉइंट्स दर्द होने लगते हैं. मेरे लिटरली जॉइंट्स दर्द होते हैं, पता है, क्योंकि मेरी बॉडी को आदत नहीं है इतना कैरी करने का वेट, राइट. सो बट आई हैव ऑल्सो नेवर फेल्ट लाइक मोर कंफर्टेबल इन माई ओन स्किन एक तरह से, क्योंकि दिस वॉज टू अ सर्टेन डिग्री अ डिस्टेंट ड्रीम जो कि कभी पूरी नहीं होने वाली थी, क्योंकि कुछ भी करो यार होता ही नहीं था, वेट होता ही था पूरा. लाइक मेरे को पता है मेरे मैं एक कैंप में गया था 1 साल के लिए, फुटबॉल कैंप में, एंड वहाँ पे वेइंग मशीन्स वगैरह तो होती थी. आई यूज्ड टू गो एंड चेक माय वेट एवरी सिंगल डे. आई रिमेंबर मेरे को उनका एक एंड ऑफ द कैंप को रिपोर्ट कार्ड भी है कि आपका पहले कैसा था, पहले क्या स्टैट्स था, अब क्या है. तो उस टाइम भी उन्होंने भाई दिखाया था कि एक देयर इज अ थिंग कॉल्ड यो-यो टेस्ट, ठीक है. तो इट्स बेसिकली आपके 2 कोन्स होते हैं एंड देन बीप्स बचते हैं हर एक थोड़े थोड़े टाइम में. ऑल यू हैव टू डू इज गो देयर एंड देन कम बैक इन बिटवीन द बीप्स, और वो बीप्स धीरे धीरे करके श्रिंक होने लगता है टाइम के बीच में. तो यू हैव टू कीप ऑन रनिंग फास्टर एंड फास्टर एंड फास्टर एंड फास्टर. तो वहाँ पे आई रिमेंबर द फर्स्ट टाइम आई डिड वाज समवेयर अराउंड 16 एंड ऑल, व्हिच इज बैड. एंड टिल द टाइम आई वेंट इन अ ईयर आई हैड gone to like 19.4 या 5 या 6 वैसे कुछ तो था. That jump in itself, people who know what yo-yo test is, that's a significant jump. And I've literally, I don't know if this is true or not, but बहुत like 3-4 साल पहले even India की national cricket team did that, right? And even they couldn't hack like 17, बहुत सारे, and they were I think ruled out for some sort of tour. इंग्लैंड का इधर का तो कोई टूर था और बहुत सारे लोगों को कम कर दिया था. तो फॉर मी बीइंग एबल टू डू दैट, ऑल्सो अंडर 17 के फुटबॉल का वर्ल्ड कप हुआ था इंडिया में. वहाँ पे सबसे पहले जिसने गोल मारा था जीक्सन सिंह करके एक है, he was 17 at the time. I've had the privilege of attending a training session with him, with player like Anwar Ali and all that, you know. So I'm not saying ki like I'm on that level, but at least fitness wise I was on the right track. Ki agar if I would have continued 2 साल, 1-2 साल, I would have at least been as fit as those guys who are literally right now playing for the Indian national team. अभी के लिए जीक्सन सिंह and Anwar Ali are both playing for that. Like I never met them, I would have met them like once or twice, maybe 1-2 dialogues exchange किए होंगे. But like I remember कि no matter what the diet is, no matter what the plan is, the key factor in everything is consistency. Like even for you, like intermittent fasting, if you keep doing it, if you keep walking, you could see like अगर तूने 3 महीने किया, 4 महीने किया, you could see the results in your body, right? For me, fitness in general has done wonders for me. Let it be anything. I have tried strength training, I have tried yoga, I have tried calisthenics. Oh dude, I want to get back into calisthenics again. Dude, that जो वो core strength आती है ना आपके अंदर, dude, that's literally, that strength is insane. And for me, the definition of working out and being fit, like अगर कोई बोलता है ना कि यार ये बंदा fit है, my definition for that is always strength over looks. Like I don't care if I look big, I don't care if I look like white किसको भी मार देंगे. Like but it has to be कि if I want to do something, I should be able to do it and consistently on a good top level without getting injured or without getting any like bad circumstances come my way after that.
So talking about consistency, when I was doing the intermittent fasting, so in that 6 months period I've lost almost 8 kgs.
Nice.
Purely based on intermittent fasting and my walk and jog, just to do regularly. And there was one more addition in that. I was playing badminton for a long time, I would say. COVID, I have played the most badminton. I have played for almost like 1.5 hours at a stretch. So if I talk about the record, the highest record I have made till date is 600 hits. So that is something which has helped me bring that intermittent fasting to fruition, I would say. Because that sports included with walking and the fasting was a brilliant combination. और वो 8 kgs जो lose किया है ना, that journey somehow gave me more confidence in my body कि जब 8 किलो कर सकते तो क्यों नहीं उससे और कम कर सकते. But what was happening that वो period में मेरा BMI का range was around just in the moderate level If I had gone down a bit, it had gone down to low BMI, which I didn't want. करके I stopped at that moment.
You know, like मेरे को ना हमेशा BMI से बहुत अजीब सा रिलेशन है because it's such a poor like measurement of fitness. What is body mass index? ठीक है, वो क्या करते हैं आपकी बॉडी में जितने भी like for example they have a scale like इतना 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 है, आपकी हाइट इतनी है, आपका वेट इतना है, तो आप इस कैटेगरी में आते हो. Which is like literally I have literally seen people who have so much muscle like and they are flexible, they can do literally have a lot of strength. उनका BMI हमेशा obese के वहाँ पे रहता है because some of them are 5'7", 5'8", 5'10", you know, तो it's a poor measurement.
In the BMI में भी you will also see ना कि the weight of the bone also matters a lot.
Exactly.
Because of bone के वजन से वो बोलते हैं कि अरे नहीं तुम obese है. That is not the way the measurement should work. But ठीक है, there are many people जिनका bones are stronger overall. तो naturally उनका weight पे effect होता ही होता है उसका. You can't help it.
मैंने उसका मैं जब फुटबॉल के खेल रहा था तो मैंने उसका ना एक ऐसी आई डोंट नो व्हाई आई वाज नाइव एट दैट पॉइंट बट उस टाइम मैंने बोला था बीएमआई छोड़ो, आई हैव माय ओन सेट ऑफ like tests कि अगर मैंने ये पार कर लिया that means मैं fit हूँ. So at that point I was like if I cannot do 50 push-ups, if I cannot do 50 push-ups in 1.5 minutes, if I can't do 60 squats in a minute, if I can't do let's say 50 crunches in 70 to 75 seconds, if I cannot like be properly flexible and also maybe run at a higher speed like 2 to 3 kilometers and sprint properly in those times like 6 to 7 times in a row, like I would not call myself fit. I know it's very crazy comparatively, but उस टाइम पे ना होता था वो, क्योंकि फुटबॉल के लिए आपको उतना स्ट्रेंथ चाहिए होता था. like how effective you are on the pitch depends on how fit you are. Literally वो हर एक स्पोर्ट का ही है वो, you know. तो yeah, but मेरे को ना एक उस टाइम पे भी सवाल बहुत आता था एक, and also I think it would be a good question for our podcast as well कि how much of a psychological and like mental, what is the right word here? like how much of a psychological and mental like hold it sort of has over your day-to-day life after incorporating a good routine of physical fitness, you know. क्योंकि बहुत टाइम क्या होता है, just to like give a context of why I'm asking the question is कि अभी फॉर एग्जाम्पल लेट्स से मैं एक रूटीन में आ गया हूँ, मैं सारी चीज़ें कर रहा हूँ, लेट्स से कुछ हुआ, इंजर हो गया, मैं नहीं कर पा रहा, तो वो मेंटल स्कार बन के रह जाता है कि अरे यार मैं शायद कुछ अपॉर्चुनिटी मिस कर रहा हूँ, या मेरे से अब वो यू नो मेरे को करना है बट कर नहीं पा रहा, यू नो. तो वो एक मेंटल प्रेशर, एक मेंटल होल्ड ले आता है आपके ऊपर, क्योंकि यू गेट यूज्ड टू योर रूटीन, राइट. तो वो एक बार चले आते. तो हाउ मच डू यू थिंक लाइक अगर मैंने तेरे को कल बोल दिया कि नहीं तू जॉगिंग नहीं कर सकता, या फिर तू यू नो इंटरमिटेंट फास्टिंग नहीं कर सकता, ब्ला ब्ला ब्ला, हाउ मच ऑफ अ इम्पैक्ट विल दैट क्रिएट इन योर लाइफ?
अभी the part where we talk about the psychological and mental state specifically, so mentally we focus more on walking. Mentally जब you go for a walk, तो your mind goes into that relaxation mode wherein you are walking at एकदम leisure में, you are walking आराम से, the oxygen levels are pretty good वो time पे, your breathing is more controlled walking के time पे. So overall what happens, this process which are aligned वो तुम्हारे directly brain को hit करता है. So in a way it gives you a very positive atmosphere, I would say, कि every time I go for a walk मेरा एक mental state बहुत strong हो जाता है.
Okay.
और you can say that कि mentally I am a very relaxed to a period में, because क्या है, you have एकदम कंट्रोल रहता है सब कुछ, यू आर नॉट वॉकिंग एकदम ऐसे फास्ट, एक सर्टन लेवल ऑफ स्पीड और मेंटेनिंग. तो वो स्पीड के साथ द माइंड गेट्स यूज्ड टू, एंड व्हेनेवर यू गो फॉर अ वॉक, तो वो स्पीड में इफ यू मेंटेन दैट एवरी टाइम यू गो, यू विल गेट अ मेंटल, आई वुड से, रिफ्रेशमेंट, कि यू सी दैट कि अरे मेरा एक अलग स्टेट रहता है when I go for a walk.
तो you're
Where
saying
I-
कि if you let it go, then your mental face उस तरीके से होगा कि like I won't feel that kind of calmness again. Like वो उसके लिए फिर देखो शायद कोई दूसरा substitute ढूंढना पड़े. But then again like physical fitness के थ्रू ही ढूंढेगा वो, you know, like calmness तो उसके थ्रू ही आएगी. तो yeah, man, that's a good.
There is also a thing where you will see na, jogging or sprinting. Many people do it out of frustration.
अच्छा,
So,
like explain.
so whenever you have what I have seen is that there are certain people who are frustrated with something in their life, be it anything, personal हो, professional हो, कुछ भी हो. तो एक certain frustration रहता है, तो they try and bring it out walking इसमें, jogging और running में.
Oh, so that's a good outlet for them.
Yeah.
So in a way,
Let go of that energy.
Yeah.
Okay.
So because that frustration levels get under control when you test your body in that level of frustration. So when you come back after that walk, after the jog or run, there's a certain freshness in you. And many people love that कि मैं अकेला जाऊँ jogging run करूँ. There are many people बोलते हैं कि चलो मेरे साथ कोई तो चलो साथ में. बट अभी कैसे देयर आर सर्टन सेट ऑफ पीपल उसे कि जॉगिंग रनिंग मेरा मी टाइम है, उसमें मैं कुछ भी कर सकता हूँ. मैं उसमें समझो गुस्सा निकाल लूँ किसका, या मैं मेरे मसल्स को टेस्ट कर रहा हूँ टू इट्स मैक्सिमम लेवल. थोड़ा सा स्ट्रेन हुआ तो भी चलेगा बट वो टेस्टिंग हो जाए. सो देयर आर सर्टन पीपल इंक्लूडिंग मी, आई लाइक गोइंग ऑन अ वॉक ऐसे अकेले, या जॉगिंग रनिंग करने को आई लाइक गोइंग ऐसे अकेले, बिकॉज वो क्या है, इट इज योर टाइम. उसमें भी तुम अगर यू विल ब्रिंग समवन साथ में, तो द पीस विच यू वांट टू अचीव एट दैट टाइम,
किसके लिए रहा?
वो पीस विच वो टाइम वो नहीं रहता है, बिकॉज क्या है वो हैबिट तुम्हारा डेवलप हुआ है पहले से. तो इन अ वे यू फील कि अरे नहीं मेरे को अकेला ही जाने का है. सो इट इज इन अ वे यू कैन कॉल इट एक फ्रस्ट्रेशन वेंट आउट करने का भी एक रह सकता है, और यू वांट पीस with yourself.
No, so it's like a quality alone time.
Yeah.
Okay. Nice. Yeah, I can see how it can be a good, almost like a stress reliever. You know, like actually I had a friend who used to go for a run at night, because again at night it's peaceful, everyone's sleeping, and you can just it's almost like why people go for long drives sometimes at night, you know, it's just peaceful there and you can just what's the line, bas wadiya hai aur main hu. Yeah, it's just that. Okay, yeah, so again man, you know, like mental fitness, physical fitness, your emotional well-being, everything's like so much dependent on each other, and kis tarike se it impacts, you know, like it's almost unpredictable to figure out how certain things might, you know, affect certain things. I was looking at one of the podcasts, I think it was Dr. Mike's podcast. Do you know who Dr. Mike is? It's basically like a YouTube, it's a young doctor / YouTuber. So he was talking about a lot of your physical trauma that you have gone through pehle can also later on in life manifest itself as a physical injury. You know, so like आपका mental well-being is connected to your physical fitness in certain ways, and also vice versa. And also like it's also a major question कि किसको priority दोगे आप. Like if you had to give priority to your mental fitness, to your physical fitness, what would you like वहाँ पे what would you give the edge to, like edge
For me what would good, I'll go with the physical and then mental, because every time I go through the physical mental route, वो प्रोसेस कैसा है, इट इज़ अ प्लान थिंग. मतलब तुमको यू हैव ऑलरेडी गॉन थ्रू दैट प्रोसेस. वंस यू गो विद दैट प्रोसेस ना, तुमको वो प्रोसेस में यू गेट दैट फीलिंग कि अरे नहीं ये सही है, ये अपने लिए सूटेड है. मैंने पीपल प्रीफर कि चलो हम लोग पहले मेंटली खुद को शांत करेंगे, देन विल थोड़ा फिजिकली वीर कीप आवर बॉडी को ऐसे मेंटेन रखो, या समथिंग दैट.
It also depends on the individual ना.
इट इज़ मोर टुवर्ड्स कि तुम इंडिविजुअली क्या प्रेफर करते हो. So for me it is going through the physical and then the mental route, because my dynamics I would say works कि मैं physically खुद को थोड़ा सा टेस्ट कर लूँ या स्ट्रेन आउट कर लूँ, तो mentally there is a certain level of peace जो मेरे को मिलता है.
Yeah, so basically like talking about benefits ना, बहुत टाइम the way that we quantify what we need out of our physical fitness journey can make you blind to what you should in some ways should expect. Like for example, अगर मेरा expectation है कि मेरे को 6 महीने में एकदम abs लाने हैं और एकदम से ये करना है, to a certain degree नहीं होने वाला वो.
नहीं, वो बिल्ड होने को टाइम लगता है, 1-1.5 साल तो तुमको वो स्ट्रक्चर में आने को लगता है, फिर वो होता है. Not that easy.
तो उस टाइम पे like a lot of the time people get demotivated. तो आपको एक रियलिस्टिक अप्रोच भी रखना पड़ता है, बट ऑल्सो लाइक वो बेनिफिट जब दिखते हैं it's just like it almost feels like you've climbed a mountain, right? So what are certain benefits that you have seen because like as a result of your physical fitness journey, and what are certain goals and benefits that you still want out of this but कि I need to do this consistently and if थोड़े time के बाद like do you have certain goals and what are the benefits look like out of the joggings and runnings and intermittent fasting that you?
So for me currently it is weight loss का towards journey, because recently थोड़ा सा weight ज़्यादा gain हो गया मेरा.
Okay.
तो उसके लिए I have gotten back on the schedule. पहले भी चल रहा था but disciplined schedule नहीं था I would say for the past 1.5 year. Because बहुत चीज़ें चल रहे थे, कॉलेज चल रहा था, then we had internships, फिर कॉलेज के प्लेसमेंट कमेटी का काम हो गया या एनी एक्टिविटीज वी आई डेंट हैव उतना टाइम कि मैं दे सकूँ. और रहता भी था कैसे कि तुम सैटरडे तक कॉलेज जा रहे हो, संडे को एक दिन तो तुमको आराम चाहिए. तो वो कर नहीं पा रहा था फॉर दैट 1.5 year. वंस आई गॉट बैक इन टू शेड्यूल, मेरा जॉब वगैरह लग गया, तो आई स्टार्टेड गोइंग फॉर वॉक्स एवरी सैटरडे संडे, एंड आई मेक श्योर कि मैं एटलीस्ट 40-45 मिनट्स डेडिकेट करूँ प्योरली फॉर वॉकिंग और जॉगिंग एंड रनिंग.
Even for a beginner, right? अगर वो भी अपने like let's say someone who's a complete beginner and उसने भी अगर weekends पे walking करना चालू कर दिया and maybe like do intermittent fasting, again like it works differently for everyone, but like what are the benefits that you think they would enjoy if they do start walking, if they do start intermittent fasting? Like how has it helped you and how do you think like उनके भी life में benefit कर पाएगा?
So first and foremost is your body gets relaxed when you go for a walk. So overall strain जो है body का, जो तुम पूरे हफ्ते भर में तान देते हैं body को और you build it.
तो तान what is that? मराठी पड़ेगा?
हाँ, तान means कैसे रहता है कि you strain out your body.
नहीं but it's a मराठी word, right?
हाँ.
It just sounds weird. हिंदी के साथ वो मिक्स करके उसका टाइटल बहुत अजीब सा लगता है. Anyway, please continue.
वही तो क्या रहता है, दैट स्ट्रेन आउट रहता है ना बॉडी का, तो वो 2 दिन में यू कैन ऑलवेज रिलीज इट, बट उसके लिए वॉकिंग करना पड़ता है. अभी इट विल बी मैनी थिंग. समझो कोई लोग थेरेपी के एंगल से कुकिंग कर ले थोड़ा, या दे डू समथिंग जो उनको बहुत पसंद है, बीट पेंटिंग, ड्राइंग. सो इन सम ऑफ द अदर वे यू शुड बी एबल टू वेंट इट आउट. सेकेंडली आई वुड से इज कि मेंटली तो डेफिनेटली है, बट फिजिकली जो तुम्हारा बॉडी वो पीरियड में एक्सपीरियंस करता है ना, द मूवमेंट्स, समझो तुम्हारा कुछ बॉडी पार्ट्स है जो यू डोंट रेगुलरली तुम्हारा मूवमेंट होता नहीं उसका. यूजुअली अभी हाथ को ही तुम देख लो, हैंड इज नॉट यूज, क्या तुम टाइप कर रहे हो उतना ही होता है, इट इज़ नॉट स्ट्रेच्ड पूरा. तो वो सब यू कैन ऑलवेज डू वॉक के टाइम पे. वॉक करने के टाइम तुम थोड़ा सा स्ट्रेच कर लो, और यू ट्राई एक्सरसाइजिंग, थोड़ा स्ट्रेचिंग कर लेना वो टाइम पे. इट ऑल हेल्प्स अ लॉट कि तुम्हारा बॉडी का वो रिलीज हो. And I always believe in that because it has helped me to a certain extent कि जहाँ तक मैं completely I come out as something very एकदम fresh. So it helps me. अभी I don't know बाकी लोग का कैसे है, but I always prefer कि whenever you want to go for थोड़ा relaxation या you want to go for something थोड़ा ऐसे serene peace के लिए always go for a walk, preferably in a garden.
Like for people who don't have like a greenery garden around them, like do you listen to music while you're doing your walking and stuff like that? क्योंकि if let's say मेरे पास से कोई अच्छी scenery नहीं है something like that, but in almost certain way it gives you a motivation, but अगर वो नहीं है then people like आज के ज़माने में everyone has like this like अपने shorts में आते हैं and then you have this big earphones and they're just running and who looking all serious and all that, right? So do you listen to music या फिर do you think it's also a good motivator कि ठीक है आप गाने सुनते it may be
नहीं अभी walking में भी there are certain modes I would say. अगर थोड़ा सा frustration vent out करना है
तो वो टाइम पे what I do
I love that that's a category. अगर आप नाराज हैं ये करिए.
तो what I do is वो period पे the type of songs which I hear is different.
Oh. हाँ तो वो डिपेंड करता है पर्सन पे कि अगर वो सैड है तो सैड सॉन्ग सुनते हैं, हैप्पी है तो सैड सॉन्ग सुनते हैं.
Preferably sad songs नहीं सुनते.
क्या बात कर रहे हैं? मैं अभी तो नंबर पीता हूँ.
नहीं वो बात कैसे है कि देयर आर सर्टन मोड्स टू इट. समझो तुम अगर यू आर एकदम रिलैक्स्ड है या तुमको कुछ ट्रेन नहीं है बॉडी का तो लिसन टू थोड़ा सा सॉफ्टर म्यूजिक, इंस्ट्रूमेंटल सुन लो.
But like my question was like, do you actually listen to?
Yeah, I listen.
Acha.
Yeah.
Like has that helped you? Like does that like actively help you? Like have you had a run where you haven't listened to music and like when you compare it to a run where you actually listen to music, like do you think you do you think you run longer with music or without music? That's
See, for me music has been a great supporter. वॉकिंग के टाइम पे हो या इफ आई एम डूइंग समथिंग आउट ऑफ पैशन, समझो ड्राइंग कर रहा हूँ, आई एम पेंटिंग समथिंग, तो वो पीरियड पे देयर आर सर्टेन सेट ऑफ सॉन्ग्स व्हिच आई हियर.
ओके. तो
मी एंड सॉन्ग्स हैव अ लॉट ऑफ स्टोरी. मैं समझो कुछ भी, इट कैन बी एनीथिंग. तो आई ऑलवेज प्रेफर कि मैं जब वॉकिंग कर सकता इट इज ईयरफोन्स डालो तो इट बिकम्स योर स्पेस, योर फोकस. अभी तुम क्या, तुम्हारा वॉकिंग और गाना.
अच्छा.
So that gives you a certain level of focus. जिधर तुम उसके ऊपर you work on it. Usually क्या होता है when you remove this earphones वगैरह निकालते हैं, there are lot of surrounding noise जो आता है. तो in a way क्या होता है कि तुमको जो वो attain करना है peace, वो इतना strongly नहीं आता है but it is not that strong. So what I believe is whenever you go for a walk, keep some soft music with you, instrumental हो या beat songs जिससे तुम खुद को इंस्पायर कर सकते हो, या something which keeps you motivated, beat your favorite songs. उसमें you can also go for short podcast वो टाइम पे.
So it helps
can
a
listen
lot.
to versatile live podcast.
Yes, definitely.
Nice. Coming to a jogger near you. Nice.
So that is how I take it.
Okay. No, that's also a very good like insight.